So we'll call to order and welcome everyone to the regular council meeting, Monday, January 19th, 2026. We'll start with the acknowledgement of treaties of peace and friendship. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Wolastoqiyik, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Thank you. Walalam. Next is the oath of office. We do hereby accept the office of council and will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties of the office as may be imposed upon us by law. Next is the moment of reflection. Deputy Mayor.
Moment of reflection for December and January. Elizabeth Ann, Loretta Furlot, formerly of Beldoon, Pearl Guittard of Beldoon, Elliot Mullally of Lorne, Daryl Hickey of Doyleville, Isabel Camo of Beldoon. That's it.
We have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any additions? Changes? If not, can we get a mover?
M 2026-01-19-1, that the agenda be adopted as presented.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Any statements of conflicts of interest can be registered with the clerk. The adoption of minutes. This is for November 3rd, November 8th, November 12th, November 17th, December 1st, both meetings, 2025. Can we get a motion?
M 2026-01-19-2, that the minutes of the Committee of Whole meeting of November 3rd, 2025, the special meeting of November 8th, 2025, the special meeting of November 12th, 2025, the regular meeting of November 17th, 2025, the special meeting of December 1st, 2025, and the Committee of Whole Council meeting of December 1st, 2025 be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Any business arising from the minutes? Presentations, petitions, and delegations. We have an RCMP presentation and want to welcome members from the RCMP. As always, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Good evening. I'll start by presenting myself since most of you I have not met before. My name is Constable Eric Maillet. I've been a member of the RCMP for pushing on 18 years now. For the past 6 years, I've been on a investigational unit, which means that I work in civilian clothing and do investigations more in the background. Before that, I was a member of the general duty in Bathurst since I did 2015 to 2019, I believe, on general duty here in Bathurst. And then this summer, I came back. I still belong to the investigational unit. However, I was asked to come in an interim basis to be team leader on the team. So since July, I've been back, and my appearance have changed since 2019. So this is what I look now. So since July, I've been helping out the detachment. And tonight, my function is just, we're gonna, less of a presentation, but more of a me talking, explaining different situation we've had in the past couple of months and how we've been able to deal with them. Maybe give an update, because I know that there's been questions going around the communities. So yeah, since December in the area, it's been fairly busy / there's been different occurrences that have occurred in the area that people are asking questions about. Specifically, there's been a couple of break-in enters that have been reported to us in the area. If I go back to January 2nd, there was a break-in enter that was reported in the Sunnyside Drive area, on the Beldoon side, I believe, where there was a bunch of numerous firearms that were stolen, and other items. Now, the reason why I'm talking about that file specifically is I find there's been a lot of good work done by our members on that file, but also the community. So what started as a break and enter file in the middle of night ended up with a cooperation from the victim, members of the community, different units from the RCMP. Ends up that we presently have 2 individuals that are being held in provincial custody, awaiting their trial for that. So from the onset, the RCMP responded, collected evidence that was provided to them by the victim and whatnot. We have members that were out in the community talking to people. We've had information that came in that provide us with names. So once we had names and reasonable probable grounds to arrest, looking at all the information, we determined that more extensive assistance would be required than your normal day-to-day patrol. We were able to set up 2 separate surveillance team. We were looking at doing what's called a Feeney warrant on 2 different addresses. So Feeney warrants are arrest warrants, which give us permission to go arrest a person in their own home. Because of the people's history, there was a security component for our members. So we, on top of calling in two separate covert surveillance teams, we had the emergency response team that came to assist us. So that brought us to being able to arrest one of the suspects on the road last week. Number of firearms were recovered following that arrest. That individual is being held, as mentioned, because of his history. Information for a second individual that was gathered by some of our, we have members of the RCMP that have been here longer than others, so they know the community better. So we have one member that has very many people he knows, and through his contacts, we were able to identify where the second individual was, and through police techniques as well, we determined he was in Newfoundland. We wanted to arrest him and make that file go forward, so we were able to not charter, but the RCMP has access to RCMP aircraft. We were able to get assistance from the RCMP. So we send members to Newfoundland to arrest the individual. We got assistance from the RCMP in Newfoundland. For that, we proceeded to his arrest, his appearance in Newfoundland. Then we got to bring him back to New Brunswick via that RCMP plane, and he appeared in court this morning. He's being held until court. The other person decided to waive his bail. So it's sometimes I find that sometimes in policing, you work, and you never, sometimes you keep hitting brick walls. In this situation, thanks to the available tools that we have at the RCMP and cooperation from certain community members, we were able to, within 2 weeks, lay charges against 2 individuals that otherwise might not have happened. So that's where we get back to when we mentioned that the community is important in policing and in our files. We at the RCMP, we are a national level enforcement agency. We have a multitude of tools at our disposal, but in a situation like this one, even with all those tools, had we not had cooperation from the community, I'm not positive at 100% that we would be here on this day with the 2 individuals in custody, having appeared in front of a judge already, and ready to prosecute in court. So we're very appreciative of the cooperation that we've received from the community in that matter. It's a great example of cooperation with the community in policing, and then using all the tools that are available to us, because it's not every day that your police service is able to grab talk to somebody, have an airplane available for the next day, and then go do surveillance in another province, and within 4 days bring back your suspect. So it's been good work all around from the members and the community in that file. So we have 2 individuals that right now had been involved in some crimes or believed to be involved, and right now there's a number of charges that are being held against them, and then as always they have the right to innocence assumption and then trial, but we are confident in that file going forward. If there's any questions that you guys have specifically about incidents that's been going on, I can take questions. Might not be able to answer them, but I can bring them back and have somebody contact. I think usually we respond back to this Mr. Lee. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, Sure.
My question is, you have two people in jail right now.
Yeah.
Do you believe that there are other people involved in this?
In that particular file?
Yes.
Um,
Are you able to tell us that?
That's what I'm thinking. I wouldn't be answering that specifically at this point, but I would answer that I'm comfortable with the situation.
If I may, Your Worship, more of a comment than a question. When you look at operations such as this, that these individuals were arrested basically outside of our community. But the point I want to make is this: the Village of Beldoon has if RCMP services are the #1 issue on our budget. But we will never see the value of that dollar figure unless we have a situation that just happened. And my point to all that is that we have a blanket contract with the RCMP that when you're talking about the SWAT teams or the special units that come in, planes that take suspects over from Newfoundland and things of that nature, all of these things would be covered under our blanket umbrella with the RCMP. So my point is that thank God that we don't really have to exercise that right. But the point I want to make is that we as a community or as a municipality do not see the value of what we pay for our CMP services until something like this would happen. So my point is, thank you very much for the service you provide, and that is what keeps our community one that is safe and under control. So I know you can't control all the individuals that live within our community, but the other side of the coin is that your presence here in our community makes a tremendous difference in the value we put on the service that you provide. So I just wanted to make the point about the dollar value is only relevant when we have a major problem within our community. And we thank you for your service, and we thank God for that. We've never had that issue at this stage anyway. So job well done. Thank you for your service.
No. I have something to say. I want to thank you very much for the work you've done in our community. As Ron said, we don't realize where our dollars are going until something happens in the community. And it's very important. And I think this presentation is very good, but this council is on their last leg. And I think it's very important to come into the early stage of the new council, which will be in May, to explain, likely June, to explain all these facts and what you do in the community. It's just not driving our roads or patrolling the roads. It's a lot more involved. We know, but I think it's very important that the new council is aware right at the beginning of the council that, what's being done, what's able to be done, and if they have any questions. So thank you very much. It was a very good presentation.
Thank you very much, and appreciate the work that you do. And I know the communication that we've had with the RCMP over the last couple of years has been very good. And to make a point, to Ron's point a little bit, we've had discussions in the past about switching from the RCMP to some other, forms of public safety. But to me, the RCMP is the top force. And the money that we spend, when you consider what more serious investigations and what more serious incidents, the cost would almost double. So I think the service that we get from the RCMP, every penny of it's worth it, and we thank you for what you do.
More questions? No? Thank you for your time. Oh, I did want to mention, I know that you have a presentation from Crime Stoppers on the 21st, I believe. We will have an RCMP representative. Our RCMP representative for Crime Stoppers is supposed to be here, barring any type of emergency. Thank you kindly for your time. Have a good evening.
So we'll move on to statements of members of council, and I'll pass mine to Councillor Burke because he's talking pretty much about the same thing anyway. So if you want to go ahead.
Okay, just would like to announce that January is Crime Stoppers Month, and the Crime Stoppers unit is recognized throughout Canada. And I have just a letter that I would like to read from the Prime Minister of Canada. I would like to convey my warmest greetings to everyone marking National Crime Stoppers Month. The month of January offers a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the partnership between communities, law enforcement, and volunteers who work tirelessly to keep our neighborhoods safe. The Crime Stoppers program empowers Canadians to take an active role in preventing and solving crime by sharing information unanimously. I am certain that the events centered on this year's theme, Safe Streets, Strong Communities, Together We Can Stop Crime, will help raise awareness of the collective responsibilities and powers of communities involved in crime prevention. I would like to commend the Canadian Crime Stoppers Association and its 87 member programs across the country for making a difference every day in the fight against crime. I wish you all a successful National Crime Stoppers Month. The Right Honourable Mark Carney, MP and Prime Minister of Canada. So my point is that, it is a unit that is recognized throughout Canada. There, in New Brunswick, there are 21 units throughout New Brunswick. There will be a presentation from the RCMP Wednesday evening. That presentation will be at the Rec Center, beginning at 7 o'clock, between 7 and 8:30. So that information has been in the messenger for the last 2 months. We're hoping that people will come out, ask questions. This is their opportunity to speak directly to the RCMP. And there will be members of the Restigouche Crime Stoppers unit present to ask their questions also. But with that said, the last comment I wish to make concerning is the support that the Village of Beldoon has shown to the Crime Stoppers unit. I put these banners on display. We have one in French and one in English. As you can see at the bottom of the banner, there are 5 sponsors of these banners. The Village of Beldoon was a contributor to the cost of having these banners made, and they will add to the flair of presentations that the Crime Stoppers unit will make from now on. So, with that said, I hope to see everyone out. This is an opportunity to, if you wish to vent to the RCMP, it's an opportunity. If you wish to have questions, it is also an opportunity. And hopefully Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock at the Rec Center. See you all there. Okay. So that will cover that item. Next item I have on my agenda is that last Monday evening there was we had a little inclement weather, but there was also a meeting of the Tourism Association Chaleur Tourism presentation in Bathurst. And I attended that meeting. Even though the weather wasn't the best, but the presentation went on, and I'd just like to read the report for the public that I sent to council. The presentation was attended by 40 people from various businesses within the Chaleur area. The program began with the Indigenous Song of Respect. Tourism Chaleur has posted many of the local events happening in the Chaleur area on their website, beginning with tourismchaleur.ca/events. The first topic discussed was called Travel Trade, and they promoted tourism within the area. They have included buses from Quebec and promoted accommodations and activities that happen within the Chaleur area. They promote a summer and fall campaign and also have a Chaleur Tourism Excellence Award. Sebastien Dueron represented TIANB, which promotes the tourism industry within the province. They have a membership which is eligible for special discounts with preferred suppliers. They are in the process of developing an advocacy group that will evaluate each region in the province. They have developed training programs of AI training and have an MOU to provide this training at all levels. This group has 3 objectives to reach: government relations, regional committees, and communication strategies. They have a plan to develop a newsletter that will highlight events in the area. To receive this newsletter, you will be required to be a member of TIANB. Lynn White from Tourism NB highlighted the objectives of her office. 1, expand advertising in Quebec and Ontario. 2, grow the U.S. market. 3, tourism is an asset for business in New Brunswick. 4, there will be seasonal strategies, spring, summer, fall, and winter. There will be regional priorities. And 6, there will be regional groups to strengthen presence and sustain diversity. Danielle Obu from the province did a presentation on building responsible, sustainable, and collective tourism. She confirmed that there are 8 factors transforming tourism. 1, funding and demonstrating value. 2, global uncertainty. 3, organizational capacity and shared governance. 4, civic pride. 5, article intelligence and authority. 6, events as an identity driver. 7, workforce and talent attractions. And 8, budget. The objectives will be trends and experience. There will be outdoor and advanced sport activities planned in the North Coast, East Coast mountain biking, and in the national parks. The goal will be to develop a living and participating culture. Scott Didden from Research and Development for Tourism had some very interesting facts that confirm New Brunswick has had an increase in tourism and is doing some very positive things to attract potential customers to their businesses and New Brunswick. The consumer analysis data, New Brunswick had $2.2 million spent. The Chaleur area had $75 million spent. For New Brunswick, 2.2 million represented a 6.1% increase, and for the Chaleur area, the 75 million represented a 6.3% increase. In New Brunswick, all of those figures represented 13 million nights of visit, and in the Chaleur area, there were 600,000 night visits. Top markets for the Chaleur Regional Service Commission, New Brunswickers were 23%, Quebecers were 40%, international was down 25%, and there was $45.7 million spent. Tourism spending was as follows. Accommodations is equal to 13 million or 10.6% increase. 2, food and beverage is equal to $23 million or a 9% increase and 30% of the total spending. 3, recreation and entertainment is 8 million or down 25% or 10% of the total. 5, wellness attractions was beach and spas. 6, retail was 20.5 million or 27% of the total spending, and transportation was 11 million or 12% increase or 15% of the total. And transportation is represented by airports, taxis, car rentals, and gas stations. They can be reached, this information can be reached on the website at tourismnewbrunswick.info. Tourism Minister of Culture, the Honorable Isabelle Thériault, brought a message of the wow factor when trying to attract and retain customers. A smile and a friendly hello go a long ways in representing New Brunswick and your business. She confirmed that all businesses are an asset within New Brunswick and promote our culture, province, and us as individuals. The meeting concluded with a panel discussion chaired by 3 panelists. Mark Arsenault represented the sports sector, Francisca DeGrasse, Deputy Minister of Tourism, represented the province of New Brunswick, and Dennis Roy, Director of the CBDC, represented the business community who would be interested in startup funding. They expressed pointers that would be important for businesses and funding that banks may not want to fund. They expressed that there are consultation available and funding provided certain objectives are present within your business plan. Sincerely, Ron Burke, Councillor of the Village of Beldoon.
Council?
So that was a presentation that was done by the province on tourism within our province and the Chaleur area. So I wanted to bring that message to council and just keep council informed as to what was happening within our region as far as tourism was concerned.
I want to take the time to thank Ron for attending that because the roads were bad. But thank you very much for all that information. It's very informative.
And just one thing, it's important to notice when you connect the dots on these associations, like the associations that councils need to reach out to and stay in touch with, like the CBDC, the Service Commission. They're all interconnected, and it's important that I think we do a good job. Obviously, we have representatives on the Service Commission, but some of the others we don't have direct connections to, but we should try and really maintain and I hope as part of our strategic plan and part of the next council's agenda that they'll do that continuing to reach out to some of the other lesser known but as important entities such as the Service Commission continues. So Okay?
And the last item I have is basically that the Council of the Village of Beldoon has formed a very positive and strong partnership with Vitale concerning our medical center here in the Village of Beldoon. We've had several meetings already. I have forwarded to council the minutes of the meeting so that those who could not make it due to work commitments are informed as to what transpired and what was said. With that said, there was one priority objective that was discussed. The building is in need of painting on the interior. And our goal is to form a very strong partnership with Vitale. And, we are looking at options as to what can and cannot be done. And one of the directives that came from that meeting was a request by Vitale if the Village of Beldoon could secure 3 quotes to see exactly what we would have as far as the price involved to paint the interior of the building. So I had mentioned to the management and those present that I would like to bring that before council because I don't want to go in a direction that council is not wanting to go in, and I want to be sure that we're going in the direction that the majority of council are in agreement to. So with that said, the request is to have our CAO go out and obtain 3 pricing tenders. I shouldn't say tender because we do not want to go out for tender. We want to have a concrete price from 3 contractors to be able to present to Vitale the exact cost of what it would cost to paint the interior of the building. So I guess that's where I'm going with this. So I'd like to, I don't know if we need a motion or we need just a consensus from council that we would ask our CAO to secure 3 prices on having that building painted interior. We're not talking about going up for tender, going out to do the work. We're talking about getting a price so that when we're talking to Vitale, that we are able to say, this is what it will cost to do the work. Now, we are looking at a partnership with Vitale, and in partnerships, you're usually looking at a 50-50 type of arrangement. So with that said, I'm going to open the floor and say, if council would supply their input as to whether direction to our CAO to go out and secure that pricing, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, council?
Mr. Burke, I just have a question. I was at that meeting as well, and I'm mistaken, or I cannot remember whether Vitality will have one of their workers. Do they not have a contractor that does this kind of work? Were they going to look into that as well?
Yeah, okay. Vitale do have a working group that are responsible for the medical centers and the hospitals and things of that nature. Where Vitale's problem with the statements made when we were discussing that is that group is in Camelton. So they're looking at it in the sense that there'll probably be added cost in in traveling back and forth on a daily basis. So they're asking us what our cost would be, and we're kind of looking at both options. They are going to get a price from their side, and we will have a price from our side. And that's why I say it's not about going up for tender or having any work done. It's about knowing what the actual cost is.
I have no issue checking to see what the cost would be. The clinic is a very important structure in our community, and hoping we want to keep it. We want to bring in possibly down the road another nurse practitioner or another doctor or an LPN. It would be great, but I don't see the issue of checking on the costs of getting it done.
We're short of a directive as of yet.
Would I need a motion on that? No?
Yeah, I don't think they need a motion for that. You just need a directive to the CAO. So if we've got Lillian, if we've got Ron, we would need a majority of council. So if there is one more councillor that would like to issue that directive.
I'll go ahead.
So you have it. Just to throw
Just-
something else. Oh, yeah,
Could I
go
make
ahead.
one last comment, if I may, Your Worship? Our medical center is critical in our community for more than just one reason. Our medical center is also a reflection of our pharmacy here in the village. If our medical center is writing prescriptions and having things of that nature, then the patients are usually going where they have the easiest access to their prescriptions and their needs. So our medical center is pivotal in probably the success, not only the medical center, but of our pharmacy also. I'm not saying that they'd have trouble. All I'm saying is that a pharmacy needs assistance in having doctors and nurse practitioners in the community. And that is the goal of this council, to have, right now we have 2 nurse practitioners there, and we will have more. The last statement I'm going to make is one of the things that that Vitale have committed to, and you can look forward to seeing it in our messenger. Vitale will be supplying us with information that will be critical to the development and information concerning our medical center. So they will be forwarding that. They were informed that if that information would be available prior to the 24th of January, then it would be included in the messenger for the 1st of February. So we're hoping that we can put that together prior to, and that the information will be in the messenger. But there will be a monthly newsletter or a monthly information within our newsletter starting hopefully in February. If not, it'll be in March.
Okay, just to add one thing, a year ago, we met with Minister Dornan, if you remember that meeting, and that was, I think, a pivotal meeting in terms of our clinic and our aspirations to increase our medical professionals. But I don't know if you've noticed in the last couple of weeks, through some of the statements that have been made and some of the stories that have come out, it seems that there's a bit of a shift in the way Dr. Dornan wishes to approach clinics. And I think it would be wise for us to try and attempt to reach out to him again, because I think that that's going to have, it's difficult to say. There definitely seems to be a sea change in their approach to the longevity of medical clinics and what it's going to take to do that. So I would think, considering ours and how important it is to our community, that we should probably, and I'm sure Dr. Dornan would share that with us, so perhaps you can reach out to Dr. Dornan's office and see if we can arrange a meeting. I think he'd be open to that, and I think we can find out if there's been any change. I think it's actually a positive change, so. So we're going to go on to administrative reports. Pardon me?
It's because I'm so noisy here. Yeah, I went to a meeting at the Renaissance Nursing Home. I'm the member on council that's on the committee, and I had a meeting in December 8th or 9th. We went over the budget for the 2025 and discussions about the nursing home and how it's functioning. And although wanted me to join another committee on the board, so I was lucky enough to get the Finance Committee, so I have a meeting again on Thursday. So I just want to let you know that I'm not just sitting there, but I'm just going there and giving our input. It's a very good nursing home. We have a lot of people from our community there. And it's good. It would be nice to have our own here, and I'm hoping in the future that we can work towards that. But right now, yeah, it's a nice place to be. So just wanted to give you all a little, tell you know what was happening.
Okay, thank you. Administrative reports.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we've got the social environmental grant report. There was 2 requests that came in that were under the threshold for administration. So we've applied those to motion number 19-3. So we also have some cleanup to do for the end of 2025. There's motions 4, 5, and 6 that are also under the social environmental grant report. Those are contributions that are going to be made to Jacket River School Council and as well as the Jacket River School Breakfast Program. There was a request that came in from the Shlour Bay Watershed Group. I did provide some information to council on the amounts that were requested from each of those entities. I know in the past, the Jacket River School, we just, council always had sort of a blanket amount, but we did communicate with them and there was certain expenditures that they did do. So I don't know exactly how council wants to manage that. We've left the resolutions blank. If council needs to discuss it or if there's any numbers that you need added, we can do that as the discussion finalizes. So there is, Mr. Mayor, 19-3, 4, 5, and 6 for social and environmental, grants.
Okay, let's start with -3.
M 2026-01-19-3, that the social and environment report for December 2025 be accepted as presented and recommendation approved. $250 to the DRHS Condor Classic Basketball Tournament request from Flo Guitar for the use of the Beldoon Rec Center at no cost for the fundraiser breakfast.
Second.
I'll second.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. -4.
There's no amount on this one, so I'm not sure what everybody wants to. Normally, it's $5,000, but now that there's a breakfast program at the school, I'll just read it for the $5,000 and we can discuss it after. M 2025-01-19-4, that the grant of the amount of $5,000 be made to the Jacket River School Student Council for the grant allocation. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the, the breakfast program's the next one. That one would have been $10,000. I'm sorry, I'll read it over. M 2026-01-19-4, that the grant of the amount of $10,000 be made to the Jacket River School Student Council for the grant allocation of 2025.
Seconder.
I'll second.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
No, we have questions first. I think council has discussed this a couple months ago and kind of felt that we would prefer having individual requests come before council rather than giving a blanket $10,000 fund to the school to spend on whatever, just so that council is aware of what the funding is being used for. And I know there was an email sent where funds had already been anticipated and spent, and I think we all have that amount. I think it was $3,500 or whatever it was. So I wouldn't be in favor of allotting the $10,000, but they can come back for individual requests, and we could cover the costs of what they've spent so far this year.
So just to add on to that and make sure that council understands those numbers. So the amount that we did receive from Jacket River School on what they had spent in 2025 was $3,160. So that's just information for council to consider. $3,160 was the amount that they spent.
So I would amend the motion to that amount, $3,160.
If I may, Your Worship, I think it's important that council recognize that what we're trying to do here is have the information as to what monies are being spent. Because in all of the councils that I've been on, and even the ones that I wasn't, I was at many meetings, I'm almost positive to say that there has never been a request come through from the Jacket River School asking for funding that has been refused. So my point to that is that it's not a question of how much money we give them. It's a question of us being informed as to what they want to do with the money. So my point to that is Councillor Carmichael's point is absolutely correct, that, this council is good till the end of May, that type of thing, and there will be new council members, at least some, sitting in these seats come June 1st. But, the question becomes, how much money do they need to function between now and then? Because that was the purpose of giving the school the $10,000, so that they weren't coming to council constantly, a dozen times a year. But it's kind of lost its luster in the sense that we're not quite aware of what exactly the money is being spent on when it's being spent. So for me personally, at this stage, being, that the year will be half over at the end of June, I would agree with Councillor Robinson's comment that I would prefer to see $5,000 now and allow the next council to deal with it because school will be done in June, July, and August, and that would allow them to set up a program. So, I certainly do not object, even if we're looking at the $10,000, because I believe that, our children are our future. And at the end of the day, we need to make sure that they're nurtured and looked after. But they need activities to keep busy. They need to represent our community with pride so that they have the funding to be able to do the things they need to do. But with all that said, I believe I'd be in favor of, say, $5,000 now and allow them to come back to the next council so that the next council is accountable for themselves and we're not being accountable for them.
So, sorry, so just for a point of order, so we've had Lillian move for the $10,000 to get it on the floor and Marilyn seconded it. Cynthia has put a motion on the floor to amend to 3160. So if council, we'll need a seconder for the 3160. If there's no seconder, then we can go to Ron's suggestion for 5,000. So for Cynthia's, we would need a seconder if that's the way the direction that council wants to go.
I'll second that. Like, we can put in the pot, like, we always have the $10,000, like, it would be to a maximum of $10,000, but they come to us when they need something. And that way they're, we never refused them in the past, and I don't think we'll refuse them in the future to up to their 10,000.
Okay.
Sorry, just another point of clarity for council. This is for 2025. So this is not for 2026. Your 2026 budget has been renewed. So if there's more requests that come in 2020, this is just until the clerk treasurer needs this information to wrap up for the budget for 2025. So this is money that they would have potentially spent last year. Just want to make sure that council was aware of that.
So is that what we got? All right, so we have a total of 30, was it 31 or 36? 3160. Okay, so on that figure, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, motion passed. -5.
M 2026-01-19-5, that the grant for the amount of $5,000 be made to the Jacket River School breakfast program to be the grant allocation of 2025.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
on the question.
So this $5,000 is for 2025? Yeah.
No, I don't believe that anything from that money has been spent. We did talk to the Jack River School, and there was some hesitancy. They didn't know exactly if they were going to require it. So my understanding, in the last time that I spoke to Jack River School, was that there wasn't any money from this allocation spent. Of course, if there was a contribution made by the council for the last year, then it's something that they could certainly utilize somewhere in their breakfast program, from what I understand. However, the information that we got from Jack River School was that they did not spend any of this allocation in 2025.
Okay, so again, the province fully funds a breakfast program for schools in New Brunswick, so I don't see why they would require an additional $5,000 when it's already being funded provincially. So I can't support funding a breakfast program that's already funded.
I understand where you're coming from, but I'm also under the understanding that this money is also used to help bring in other supplies that the school would not have received, and probably which is in need. That's my assumption. I might be wrong, but if other food items are required or needed, I think that we should allocate some money towards it as opposed to not.
I also agree on that. Oh, sorry, do you want to go? Sorry. I'm there every day. I work there. The superette is no longer in function, so there are no more hot lunches. And I can tell you, there are a lot of children that come in the morning and they are hungry. And we are making grilled cheese sandwiches, and she is buying some extra stuff. Chocolate milk. There's other things that she's buying that I think, that's my opinion, that we should support that. Because I don't think, I know there are some things, I understand that. There's a lot of stuff that is supplied, but there are things that are bought extra for those kids, and that's my opinion. Thank you.
If I may, I'll state my 2 cents worth for what it's worth also. I cannot, in good conscience, debate something about our children. They are the future of our community. And the program may be sponsored, but when you look at schools throughout New Brunswick, there's no question in my mind that the school board is evaluating the costs of schools. So if we need to keep our school going, we need to assist them to make sure that our children are looked after the best way they can. Because if there's more cost added to the Jacket River School, then it starts being evaluated on that cost. So for me, I look at this and I say, the children of our community are at that school, and they are the future of our community. And I feel obligated to make sure that they have the nourishment required to be alert and ready to be all they can be. So for me, I have no problem supporting the 5,000.
Okay, it sounds like we have at least 3 willing to go through with the 5,000 vote. Yeah. So to go to vote, yeah. So let's go to vote with the 5,000 figure in there.
Okay, well, hang on one second. Not everybody supported 5,000. People were willing to give some money to the program. I think I'm going to get back to, I don't have issues with sponsoring or supporting food for schools. As an EA, I have spent a ton of money feeding kids, as has Dawn, as has any person who has worked in a school, most people who have worked in schools. That's not the issue. My issue is if they don't need the money for the breakfast program, if they want to put a proposal for a hot lunch program, I would be 100% on board with that. But if you needed $5,000 2 years ago for a breakfast program, you don't need $5,000 now for a breakfast program that is being fully funded by the province. So I would like to know exactly what the needs are in the school. What are we funding? That's my question, is if they didn't use the $5,000 last year, they don't need it this year. So what are we funding? I would love to see a hot lunch program in that school. We've talked about that. Joey Noel talked about that when he was mayor. So evaluate the actual needs and address those rather than throwing $5,000 for something that the funding isn't required. That's my issue, is what are we funding?
I agree with Cynthia there. We need to know what we're funding. Maybe we can give a part of it for last year and then this year evaluate it. And when we evaluate if it's hot lunches you need, then we'll go with the hot lunches and then come up with the amount at that point in time. So I don't know where we're going with this motion, but
I'm not the principal, I'm not Ms. Frenette, and I'm not going to give information that I don't know totally, but I know that there is a thing in process where we are trying to get meals for these children again. So I do understand what Councillor Robinson is saying, and I get it, but I still stick to my thing. I don't think that children should have to go without, and if that's the case, then we can address Ms. Frenette as the principal with a list of what is it that's extra. She's willing to provide it. I've already addressed her with it. I've already talked to her about it. And I mean, it's a matter of just contacting her and getting her to speak on it. And that's still my opinion.
Okay, then can we table this until we get the information from Ms. Frenette and find out what exactly the needs for the school are in terms of feeding kids? Because that is not my issue. My issue is, what are the needs?
Okay, so the only concern from that perspective is that because this is a 2025 allocation, we do need to know what's going to come out of 2025 because we have to get that budget in for the end of January. So right now, council has a motion for 5,000 that's been moved and seconded. It has not gone to vote. If council wants to consider a lesser amount, then the suggestion would be put an amendment on the table for a lesser amount if that's what you want to do, because this is for 2025 and we do need, if there isn't an agreement by council at this meeting for 2025, then we're going to have to move it through as like a null amount, a zero amount. So if you do, moving forward for 2026, not a problem. If you want to set something up, then administration can communicate with the school on that and say, as the priority, whatever it is, if there's priorities that you need to do or if there's things that you want to provide, we need a list of that to move forward. I don't think that's going to be an issue. But for the 2025 allocation, we will need for council to land on a number there. So if the $5,000 is not sitting well with all of council, I would suggest that somebody put an amendment on for an amount that you would find acceptable, get a seconder and vote on that. And then we can move on to and then for 2026, we put it on administration to go and collect the information from Jacket River and do that.
Okay, what amount are we looking at? I'm going to say maybe half of the 5 for now. Is that feasible? 2,500 as opposed to 5?
I agree with the 2,500 because we gotta have a number there. Put zero, it's kind of, but I think that before we vote on anything like this again, that we need to have a more clarity.
Can you reread that? Well, reread it.
M 2026-0119-5, that the grant of the amount of 2,500 be made to the Jacket River Breakfast Program for the grant allocation of 2025.
Seconder?
I'll second.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Dash 6.
Can somebody clarify the number that they were looking for at the Shellor Bay?
Yes, I have that number here. The request that came in from the Shlorer Bay Watershed Group was for $8,382. Just so council is aware, that amount was formulated by the Shlorer Bay Watershed Group through the tax base. So they did the same thing with the surrounding areas with Bell Bay. The figure that they came up with Bell Bay was based on the tax assessment. So that's where that number came from. The request was for $8,382 for 2025 contribution.
Thank you. M 2026-01-19-6, that the grant of the amount of $8,382 be made to the Shellor Bay Watershed Group as part of their grant request for 2025.
Seconder? On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Clerk Treasurer Angela Buckle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, financial reports for the month of December 2025. So we'll start with the general operating fund. We had a balance carry forward from November of $260,100.59. We had deposits and interest revenue of $433,095.25. We issued checks in the month of December for $197,283.94 and other payments through direct payment of $480,307.07. We had outstanding checks at the end of November of $14,987.12, and at the end of December, our outstanding check balance was $68,330.01. That leaves us with an account balance at the end of December of $68,947.72. The capital reserve account balance at the end of December was $3,065,018.38. The capital operating reserve account balance at the end of December was $235,497.14. And the gas tax fund balance at the end of December, $775,543.02. Accounts payable as of end of December, $327,560.82, and accounts receivable of $448,625.32. In the utility operating fund, the utility operating fund, we had a balance carry forward at the end of November, $10,652.46. We had deposits and interest income of $2,877.74. Checks issued in the month of December, including payroll, was $2,306.34, and we had online bill payments of $1,493.69. Outstanding checks at the end of November were $440.91, and at the end of December, $48.30, which left us with an account balance at the end of December of $9,337.56. The capital reserve account balance at end of December 2025 was $95,961.17. The operating reserve account balance at the end of December, $4,159.16. And the trust account balance as of December 31st, 2025 was $33,545.78. The accounts payable at the end of December was $367.77, and accounts receivable $5,747.67.
Okay. M 2026-01-19-7, that the financial report be accepted as presented and accounts payable be paid.
Need a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Bylaws and policies. Dash 8, the adoption of employee recognition program policy.
I'll read this one, you can read the next. M 2026-01-19-8. Whereas Section 10, Bracket 1 of the Local Government Act, SNB 2017, C18, affirms that the local government may adopt policies for the good governance, administration, and operation of the municipalities of whereas council recognized the importance of supporting acknowledgement, the dedication, professionalism, and years of service contributed by municipal employees, and whereas administration has prepared a new employee service recognition policy which established a structure, a program for recognizing employee service milestones and outlines eligibility, responsibility, and program administration. Be it resolved that the Council of the Village of Beldoon hereby adopts the employee service recognition policy effective immediately. Be it resolved that administration is authorized to implement and administer the policy including coordinating service, tracking award delivery, public recognition where chosen by the employees, and all necessary record keeping. Be it further resolved that the Chief Administration Officer is directed to ensure that appropriate funding for the Employee Service Recognition Program is included in the annual municipal operating budget.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
If I may, Your Worship, just prior to that, I brought this to council a few months ago, and I just wanted to thank CAO Lee for jumping on it as quickly as you did, because I believe the employees are the backbone as to what happens in our community, and we as a council are dependent on the work that they do. So from my point of view, thank you, CAO Lee, for acting on that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. -9, the adoption of municipal alcohol serving policy.
M 2026-01-19-9, whereas the Village of Beldoon is responsible for ensuring the safe, responsible, and legally compliant service of alcohol at municipal events operating under the municipal liquor license, and whereas the Village of Beldoon recognizes the importance of establishing clear, consistent procedures for alcohol service in accordance with the Liquor Control Act of New Brunswick, regulations of alcohol, Cool NB liqueur, ANBL, and applicable municipal bylaws. And whereas administration has prepared a new municipal alcohol serving policy to guide event organizers, municipal staff, volunteers, and contracted service providers in fulfilling their responsibilities when alcohol is served at municipal facilities or events. And whereas council has reviewed the proposed policy and is satisfied that it promotes public safety, responsible consumption, legal compliance, and effective operational oversight. Be it resolved that the Council of the Village of Beldoon hereby adopts the municipal alcohol serving policy effective immediately. Be it further resolved that municipal administration is directed to implement the policy, ensure that all required procedures and controls are in place, and make the policy available to all municipal departments, committees, and facility users. Be it further resolved that this policy shall be reviewed every 3 years or sooner should changes to provincial legislation, ANBL requirements, or municipal operational needs warrant revision.
A seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question,
I have a question. Why would we allow other people to use our license? And it says that the responsibility falls back to the village.
So anyone that this policy impacts, this is somebody who's going to be serving alcohol under our policy. So if there's an event that's going on, New Year's Eve dance or something that's being done by the municipality, and we bring someone in to serve alcohol at the rec center, then that's who this policy would apply for. If there is another event, they don't operate under our liquor license. So if there's a wedding or a separate event, then that person, whoever rents the rec center, would need to go and get their own liquor license. And so we would cancel it our own. So the way that this is written is only for anyone who's going to be working at a municipal event.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Motions and resolutions, 9.1-10. Bylaw amendment hearing date.
M 2026-01-19-10, whereas the council has received a request to amend a rural plan provision to allow one more unit in a mixed zone of type 2 bracket MX-2 for a total of 16 unit in multiple unit dwelling. Whereas the council wishes to consider the above-mentioned text amendment request. Whereas Section 111 of the Community Planning Act CPA requires the public notice relating to the adoption of such bylaw. Whereas the council have already requested the advice of the Chaleur Planning Review and Adjustment Committee for a Chaleur Regional Service Commission pursuant to Section 110 of the CPA. Be it resolved that A bylaw amending the Village of Beldoon rural plan be prepared. B, the clerk shall be on behalf and for the benefit of council cause public notice to be published in accordance with the requirements of the subsection 111 bracket 1 of the Community Planning Act. C, the consideration of objections for the proposed bylaw be set for February 17, 2026 in the council chamber in the Beldoon, New Brunswick at 7 p.m. D, the proposed bylaw be made available for the public consultation of the municipal office during business hours starting on the day of the first public notice is published.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
on the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Per diem for Chaleur Tourism Event, -11.
M 2026-01-19-11, that a full day per diem be paid to Councilor Ron Burke for attending the Chaleur Tourism event of January 12, 2026 in Bathurst, New Brunswick.
And a seconder,
I'll second it.
on the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. -12, the Capital Renewal Fund Plan Adoption.
M 2026-01-19-12, that the document entitled Village of Beldoon 2026 to 2029 Capital Renewal Plan, CRP, for the Capital Renewal Funding, CRF, allocation be adopted.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
on the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. General correspondence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so for correspondence in, we have the SPCA report for November 2025, the SPCA report for December 2026. We got the Universal Rail Track Inspection Record for December 2025, the Chaleur Regional Service Commission building permit reports for both November 2025 and December 2025. We have the Chaleur Regional Service Commission variance report as well. And lastly, the Chaleur Regional Service Commission Administrative Report. Correspondence out, we had a letter of support for the road upgrade and transfer to the Port Authority. For invitations, we did receive an invitation from the 44th Beresford Regional Commercial and Industrial Exposition. It was included in your agenda packages. And we also received RCMP thank you and a season's greeting letter, as well as a thank you from the Making Spirits Bright campaign.
M 2026-01-19-13, that the meeting is adjourned at 8:15.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed, the meeting adjourned. Thank you.